All right, our first guest now is Lisa Bain from Joy in the Cause. Lisa, welcome.
Thank you.
Good to have you
it's
here,
great to be
kid.
here.
What is Joy in the Cause?
Joy in the Cause is a nonprofit that focuses on helping individuals and families that battle life-altering illnesses or situation, or families in crisis. It was birthed out of a crisis.
How so?
About 10 years ago, my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer and given about 5 months to live. She was my best friend. But on that same day, I was told I wouldn't be walking in 6 months. So I remember sitting at the foot of her bed, having to tell her she was filled with cancer and what I had just found out, because we'd been battling at the same time. And she had a 30-second pause there, and she sat up and she said, "Lisa, this is just a hoot." She said, "We are going to make this the best day of our life. We are going to make the worst day of our life one about giving, paying it forward, and we're going to give." And that 30-second pause, I know she was getting a glimpse of what she wanted to accomplish, and she lived 5 years instead of 5 months.
No kidding.
And in that and I'm still walking, and it truly is doing what I'm doing every day and what we're seeing happen with the people that we get to help.
Doctors tell young medical students now, attitude makes a difference.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, a major difference. I am curious, how do you decide? Because there are so many people out there in need. What do you do? How do you pick one?
And that is a great question. We do a lot of vetting, but what's really neat is that we give on a lot of different levels. The little stuffed animals made from the look-alike Mavis Pearl, who's a therapy dog that we take with us. Many people they just want that, they're all handmade, all of the outfits. It's the personal touch of the gifts that we give. But there are bigger ones like paying bills and gas cards and money cards. And when we give a care package to an individual, we give to the whole family. We find out, how many kids do you have?
We have some video it's already rolling. We have some video here of folks that you've touched. And again, I go back to my original question. How do you choose one to focus on?
And that's a hard question. We do a lot of vetting, but we don't turn down that many people. They almost all get a stuffed animal. But you can visit people. You may not be able to give monetary, but you can be there. And we've got over 600 volunteers, many who have gone through the exact things that these people that contact us, they go, and a visit can mean the world.
So by vetting, you mean behind-the-scenes investigation?
Right, right.
To make sure that these folks are who they say they are.
Exactly. We have a care request link, and we vet them and find out, and many times I call and just talk to find out what is the need. How can we help? And find out that way.
And at the same time, you've got to take care of the organization.
Yes.
While you take care of the people.
Exactly. Exactly.
Interesting dichotomy you end up in.
It's a big job.
Tell me about Mavis.
Oh, good old Mavis Pearl. Well, she came into the picture. I trained service dogs and worked with animals. I love working with animals. And we had gotten her about the same time we were diagnosed. And she was just really called to do this. And we were called to go in to see a little girl that was in the actively dying phases. And I was like, oh my goodness.
I'm sorry, she was what?
She was actively dying. She was in literally her last moments of life. They wanted Mavis with her. They wanted Mavis in her lap. And I was like, okay, let's do this. I wanted to take something with me. So I had a little stuffed bulldog and I dressed it up to look like Mavis. We got there, and literally when the elevator opened, Mavis took me to her room. And we sat Mavis on her lap, and I gave the little stuffed animal to the mom. And the tears were just flowing, and we were there at that moment when she made her journey to heaven. And the mom came up to me and said, "You've got to do something with these animals. These are just precious." And we always send them out with a prayer and a blessing, and they're just a lot of TLC. Every one of them, probably about 5 to 7 people have had a part in making them.
So Mavis is the big one in the center.
That's the look-alike Mavis, right? Since she's not here, we brought her little stuff look-alike.
Missing a tooth and all.
That's right, that's right. But the others, these are all of the different Mavis dogs. 40,000 have gone out with care packages.
No kidding.
They're the calling card of all the care packages. So we are busy. And that also gives over 600 volunteers a lot to do. And we partner with schools and other organizations and even community service to some students. At-risk students are involved. And it's been a real game changer because they get to see
You
where they're
also work
going.
with law enforcement?
Kids in crisis. We got a call from an officer that said, I've got 4 kids, and the parents just said, we don't want them anymore. Here they are, they're waiting at this address, and you've got 4 kids that have lost everything. They've been abandoned. Do you have anything that can help us? And so we got a request list of everything that they would need in a backpack, all the first responders. And we filled that backpack full of items from clothing to toys to activity books. They all have a stuffed Mavis in them. And 10,000 have gone out in 2 years, and they go to trafficked kids, they go to kids in crisis from first responders, fire, Lifelight, police, and organizations all across the community that we partner with. And it's been a mind-blowing project for us.
We see Tulsa police cars with stuffed animals in the back window. Is that your handiwork?
A lot of them are Mavis, yes, and we're actually working on getting a fire Mavis in every Tulsa fire truck will have a Mavis in them. And
Well, when are you going to go on the market with these things?
Well, you can get them
You know?
online. You can get them online.
Yeah.
But they're definitely in demand. They're fun. In fact, today, right before I came, I was sending out about 3 to go out, and then we made deliveries to hospices. And it's who knew a stuffed animal would mean so much. But it's truly the TLC and the love that's put into each one that makes the difference.
Is the old saying, there's no rest for the weary. Certainly you must begin to drag from time to time, but with each child, that has to open your eyes a little brighter, a little wider, and pump you up a little bit. Am I reading that right?
It has changed my life. You can't do this and not be touched to the core, not changed. And it has given me a new purpose. I do struggle with autoimmune disease. There are times where it's hard to walk, but I have a purpose, and that purpose is to just get as many and help as many of these kids as I can. But it does affect you. It truly has changed the course of my life, and I'm just thankful that I'm able to do what I do. But it definitely, some days are easier than others.
The other side of the coin is, and it's intriguing because you work with the very young and, of course, children of all ages, but on the other end of the spectrum. And this is, a lot of us are approaching that, oh, yes, end of life, where we see people we've known forever, they're no longer here, they're gone. And you reach a point where, your world gets smaller and you start to get a little lonely if you don't get out and make new friends. And then if you can't because of some health issue, by golly, you're pretty lonely. And so you deal with those as well.
Absolutely. I had one lady that said, can you come over and just spend 30 minutes with me talking about anything but cancer and just be with me? She said, I just want a rotisserie chicken. So I brought a rotisserie chicken. We scrapbooked, we sang, we had the time of our life. And she helped make tutus. And she said, this has been the best day of my life. And she didn't live long after that. And those moments are ones that just embed in your mind. We have many, many nursing facilities that we visit and hospices.
It brings to mind a Robin Williams movie. I'm sorry, I can't get the scene out of my mind.
Is it Patch Adams?
That's it.
That's my favorite movie ever.
And he sets the woman up who wanted to take a bath in spaghetti, or was it pasta?
It was. I think
Macaroni?
it was. Yeah, something like that.
Anyway, filled this hot tub with it, and she jumped right in the middle. That was her dream before she died.
Yep.
And he set it up, and no one understood what Patch was up to. Great film, Patch Adams.
I love that movie.
You got to see it. What's ahead for you? What do you need?
We are just so busy, always looking for sponsorships. It's going really statewide, especially our Joy to the Rescue project, Kids in Crisis, and the needs are great, so great. We are always needing volunteers, and jointhecause.org is where you can go to check out everything we do. We love our sponsors to get involved and have a part in it firsthand, to see where their support is going. That's huge for us.
So it's critical they need to get in there with you and kind of walk the trenches.
That's the game changer. It's just as much for the giver as the receiver.
Hey, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Bringing Mavis Pearl.
Yeah, Mavis Pearl.
Are you going to get another Mavis?
I don't think there'll ever be another Mavis. She's one of a kind. There'll be another one, but I don't think it'll be a bulldog.
Please, thank you. Thank you very much for coming in. Coming up, a sport you can practice in the privacy of your own home. You don't have to be outdoors at all, and it could pay off big time. More after this.